States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Alderman Wendy Arnold. Here. Minkus.
Here.
Shackelford.
Here.
Marcus.
Here.
Jeffers.
Here.
Walters.
Here.
Piper.
Here.
Rick Arnold.
Here.
Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Minkus to approve the agenda as is. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Rick Arnold. Roll call, please. Alderman Rick Arnold.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Jeffers.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Wendy Arnold. Yes. Citizens' comments. Mr. Brown, are there any cards for citizens' comments? None? There was no cards, Mr. Brown? No cards.
No cards, no batteries either.
Thank you. Okay, well then we'll move right on into our 2015 audit report. Vanderven, LLC.
I'm Mike Radke with Vanderven CPAs, and here to go over your audit report. We completed the audit for the December 31st, 2015 year, and a good report for you. Unqualified opinion, which is the best we can give you. Everything's materially correct. Had no issues. Had one finding, we'll get to that in a little bit. One thing that we noted in the report on page 2 is that management has omitted management's discussion and analysis. This is a report or a section that would be put together by management and with the management's outlook of what went on during the year, what occurred, what didn't occur, what affected you, what's going to affect you in the future. We'd like to see that included in the report in the future. It's not required, but it is additional information that can be helpful to third-party financial statement users. We'll go through and I'll hit a few of the high points. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer them for you. First place we're going to go is page 5, Exhibit A, government-wide statement of net position. This includes capital assets and long-term debt. Can be a little bit misleading if you look at that. More informative part would be affecting you would be on Exhibit C on page 7 with your balance sheet for the governmental funds. List each major fund and a combination of the non-major governmental funds. Exhibit D on page 9 is the P&L. There you can see that every fund had an increase in the fund balance this year. So we had a very good year. Every fund was profitable except the non-major funds, which went down about $5,000. Overall, your funds increased $336,000 this year. Pretty good year for you. Last year they were up about $1.2 million, but this year you had a lot of capital expenditures that went out there that bumped up quite a bit this year from last year. So you can expect that your funds aren't going to go up that high when you're spending money on capital purchases. There are some, as I said, the government-wide, there's a difference between government-wide and the fund balances. There are 2 reconciliation pages there that shows you what the differences are. As I said, the fund balance gives you a more to the point look of what you actually did rather than being maybe muddied up a little bit with your capital assets and your debt service and the long-term debt that's reported. Page 12 then. Statement of revenue, expenditures, and net position proprietary funds. This is your water fund, your sewer enterprise fund. Both of these operated at a profit this year. The water fund increases net position by $348,000. Sewer fund increased by $766,000. You have a good, strong balance there. It's important to have a strong balance in those 2 funds. Any major repairs that might come up can really drain that in a hurry. So it's important that you maintain your rates so that you maintain those balances so you have a cushion there in case something would come up. We run into a lot of small cities that the DNR comes down on and says you have to make these improvements, and all of a sudden they're doubling and tripling their water rates because they don't have this cushion built in. So that is an important factor for you to consider with keeping your water rates, keeping a cushion in those funds so that you do have a cushion there if repairs would be needed. expenditures exceeding appropriations by $29,494, which really is immaterial to a company this size, but there were a couple of accounts payable invoices that came in right at the end of the year that were included in AP, but you were not able to amend the budgets to take those into account. Very minor finding, really. Page 25, capital assets. There's a listing of your capital assets at the beginning of the year, the additions, deletions, and balance at the end of the year. And there you can see the large expenditures that had to do with the building purchase on Main Street, the Main Street addition, then down in the proprietary, the water tank reimbursement, the Main Street water line were the main expenditures that took place there that affected you. There were actually additions. If you look at government-wide, it would be an addition to your balance sheet or to your bottom line. Look at the fund balances, there are expenses there. One of the, you'll notice it's a little bit thicker this year because there are new disclosures were required. One had to do with the municipal court traffic violations, fines and costs. There's a new footnote there. They want to be below 30% of your overall revenue with traffic violations. You were at 3.9%. You're well within the guidelines. I think some of the small cities around are really making a lot of their money off of traffic tickets, and they don't really want that to happen. Another new footnote, you became participant loggers this year. And this is a huge deal for GASB. Government Accounting Standards Board is to get this liability on the books for retirement plan liabilities for all the employees that are covered by this plan. And they want a liability there that would show what the city would owe to pay every person covered by the loggers plan all the way out to their death. So it's a huge liability that will show up next year. Because you came up, only participated in October this year, the calculation is done as of June 30th, 2015. So there's no liability calculated for the city for this year. So we put the footnote disclosure in there, and you'll notice it's a pretty lengthy footnote, note 13, that goes through a lot of detail, or it looks like it's a lot of detail. But next year when they have the liability calculated, it's going to be about 3 times as long. It'll be about 3 more pages of disclosures related to this, and there will be a liability book next year that will show your portion or the city's portion of the employee retirement expenses that will affect you in the future. It's not as if they're going to come out here and say, we need $1 million today. It's just these things would be paid out as your employees retire and go into their later years after they're employed here. And as I said, that was a big, huge effort by GASB to get that liability on the books because you're sitting here thinking you don't owe anything, and it's just an informational thing to show that there is a liability there related to these pension plans. Exhibit J then on page 36 shows the finding there. If you look at capital outlay, in the middle of the page it shows being over budget by $67,894, but if you look further down, the transfers out were under budget by $38,400. The net of those two is the $29,494 of the late invoices that came in on some projects. Then we get to the internal control letter on page 41. That's our report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance and other matters based on an audit of financial statements performed in accordance with government auditing standards. The internal controls were fine. The compliance matter we had, again, was the expenditures exceeding appropriations there. And we discussed this with the city, and the response was that the city will prepare a budget that complies with statutory requirements for subsequent periods. As I said, when those bills come in that late, it's just pretty hard not to have something there where you're not going to be able to amend the budget timely when these invoices come in right at the end of the year. Then we have 2 letters. There's no title on these, so if you look down, one says significant audit findings, 1 paragraph down. Everybody's found out. This is a SAS 114 letter. It's just our report to the board what we found during the audit, we had any issues or any problems performing, and we did not have any issues. Everything went very well here. I think Mr. Shin and his staff, they do a very good job, and I think they do a very good job. Everything was ready for us, and it went very smoothly when we were here. Again, under this significant audit finding qualitative aspects of accounting practices, there's where the GASB 68 comes in. That is related to your loggers' participation. That's what's going to show up next year. And then again on the next page, disclosure of the retirement plan, and note 13, the financial statements, is the disclosure of the details of the loggers' pension plan. The city became a participant in the plan on October 2015, and that is one of the major financial statement disclosures that we want you to be aware of. And as I said, next year it'll be much lengthier, so it'll be more of a factor next year for you. Then the next letter had a couple of recommendations for you. We looked at cash disbursements as part of our audit procedures. And there were several blank checks that had been voided for various reasons. And these checks were posted as voided in the computer system, so they were listed properly there. But when we looked at the actual voided check, it was not defaced in any way. They were kept in a folder, but they had not been void and not been written on the check. It looked like a good check, somebody could have picked it up and gone with it and spent it. So our recommendation is that anytime you void a check, make sure it's defaced if nobody else can use it. Also under cash disbursements, there's a service available. We run into other entities that use this service as Positive Pay, where they upload the list of checks that they are sending out that month to the bank, and then the bank watches them to make sure that there's not a check coming back that's not on that list that someone got a hold of and tampered with in order to take money out of your account improperly. We have had other clients that have had this happen, and it's a major headache. If somebody, this day and age with the technology out there and the hackers that are out there, they get a hold of your account number, they can play havoc with your bank account. So that's the service you might consider looking into. And usually for a city this size, I don't think there's any charge associated with it, or a very minor charge for that protection that it provides. One other thing we had, or recommendation we had, since you became a loggers participant, you're sending in the retirement plan deposits, and I think there was a glitch in the system where we determined that the same amount of payroll had been entered for the employees classified as general for November, and again in December, and again in January, and again in February. So the same payroll is going in every month when actually people are hourly employees, their payroll is not going to be the same every month. So we recommend that the retirement plan submissions be reviewed and reconciled to the actual payroll detail prior to being submitted. And I think we discussed this with Amber, and I think she's taken steps to take care of that problem. It wasn't a huge number, but it's something that should balance, and the way the DOL is on some of these things, you want to make sure you're in compliance with all retirement plan requirements. Other than that, I think that's about all I have for you. As I said, it's a very good report, unqualified opinion. Your fund balances are increasing. I think you're doing a good job, and compliment everybody here. So, any questions? I guess I'm done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, if there are no questions, we'll move on to new business, or sorry, old business, which there is no new business. Resolution number 2016-54, major medical insurance broker. Any questions or comments pertaining to the resolution? Yes, Alderman Jeffers.
I wasn't here when the thing went through, so I got probably some questions. How does the broker get paid? What is the procedure, and how do we pay him?
It's paid within the insurance company, correct? When we make payment to the insurance company is the one that makes that payment to them.
Okay.
Am I correct? I'm asking Dickie.
For the broker, yes, that's built into the bids. Brokers have no say over what they get for fees from the primary health care providers. The insurance company determines determines that. It's the same for all brokers too, it doesn't matter which broker you use either.
Would the broker, I mean, can the broker go with the company that he gets more money from? I mean, present that one to us, that he will be getting more back from them?
They will not present us what their commission is, they'll simply present to us what it's gonna cost us for insurance.
You know, it'll show his commission between, if we have two.
It may not, it may not. That's between the broker and the insurance company. What will determine whether or not we accept that offer from the primary health care provider. If we don't like it, we tell them we don't like it.
So the compensation doesn't matter to us, so therefore we don't, that's okay. I just, you know, it always seems to me that, you know, everyone's in it to make money, and we might get the wrong, we might propose the wrong one because he gets more money than we don't know about.
I guess that's possible, but it's up to us at the end of the day to determine out we feel it's reasonable, appropriate, customary as far as the fees. If it's not, that's what our brokers are to do. Go back out and keep searching.
How long is the contract for?
We can do it annually, but no more than 3, correct?
Yeah, no more than 3. 3 is pretty standard.
Is that what this one's going to be?
They will be for 3, yes.
Okay. And I wasn't there, so a copy of the contract isn't attached so that you can really tell what the thing is. Can we get a copy of the contract before it's signed or after or something, just so we know? Or do I need to know?
You'll see it. It'll be public information once Sean drafts it. Once you pass a resolution tonight, that formally gives us the power to move forward and enter into this agreement with the broker. And Sean will draft that contract and then present it.
And, thank you.
More questions?
Madam Mayor, one thing real quick on the audit. Late the day I received the audit report electronically, I'll get that to Amber tomorrow, and we'll try to get it on the website tomorrow. It's several pages long, as you can see. Oops, sorry. It's several pages long. Our scanner works sometimes it doesn't. We'll do our best to get it on the website tomorrow.
Thank you. Okay, if there's no further questions for Resolution 2016-54, I'll entertain a motion to put it on a reading for approval.
I'll make the motion.
We have a motion by Alderman Walters to put Resolution 2016-54 on a reading for approval by caption only. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Alderman Rick Arnold. Roll call, please.
Alderman Wendy Arnold.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Jeffers.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Rick Arnold.
Yes.
So moved. Resolution 2016-54, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of Yuba, Missouri to enter into and execute an agreement with Lakeland Insurance and St. Genevieve Incorporated for the services as the broker of record for major medical insurance.
I'll make the motion when accepted as read.
We have a motion by Alderman Walters to approve it as read. Do we have a second? Seconded by Alderman Minkus. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rick Arnold.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Jeffers.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Wendy Arnold.
Yes.
So moved. All right. Bill number 1413, Board of Investments, first reading. Any questions or comments?
My question, when does this take effect on the terms? Is that concurrent, does it start now, or?
Yeah, as we went through it last time, my notes reflect that we've got a number of board members who've been on term far past what their appointed terms were, and so we're just trying to catch up with it. So I wasn't sure how we were going to handle the staggering of terms. We've got at least one person who's just in for a year, I believe, and so that would leave a number of other spots open. But the way it's written, we're just filling the board vacancies.
Can I pull out a hat, name the hat, pull out?
Recommended by the mayor, I believe, is the way that it reads.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Alderman?
On this, on the agenda, it says first reading, it doesn't say anything about the second reading. On the information that we got, it looks like we do have a second reading.
We will at the next meeting.
Oh, it's the next meeting, okay, so that's just okay. Then I got, one question, between 413 and 414. One of them is a, shall be, and the other one's a maybe, as far as doing things, you know. Is that legally, they don't legally mean the same things, so should we make them consistent?
They do not legally make the same thing. Can you point to me what exactly you're talking about?
Where does it say may or shall? What paragraphs?
Removable?
On 1413, he is pointing to down at the third to last sentence in the main paragraph. Members and alternates shall be removable for cause by the mayor of the Board of Aldermen.
Sure.
And then on 1414,
Same place, rather than the,
on section 3, last 2 lines, Board of Aldermen may remove any citizen member for cause stated with in writing and after public hearing.
Yeah, that does make a difference. That's actually an excellent point. I don't know that it changes anything. They're typically entitled to a public hearing and a review by the board before they're let go. It's just a question of whether or not you have to get rid of them, or you can decide whether or not to get rid of them. We can table the one that's got the shall and put a may in there if the board wants me to do that. I'm happy to.
I'm just asking, you know, it was inconsistent between the two, and I did not know why it was, or what it actually meant. And,
Sure.
Any comments?
Can we not pass it with a change? And you just
They're both on first reading.
vote on first reading, yeah?
Yeah, we can make the change. Just make it to May. That way you guys aren't bound to dismiss them. You may find you don't want to go that route.
Just make the motion with the change, and then
Correction to bill number 1413 from
Yes.
shall to may.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did you go on the shall or may? I
We
mean,
could go with may. That gives us the option instead of commanding. Any other questions or comments? This time I would entertain a motion to put bill 1413 on its first reading by caption only with the correction at second to last sentence, all members and alternates may be removable for cause by the mayor and board of aldermen upon written changes and after public hearing.
so moved.
Second.
Alderman Marcus, seconded by Alderman Rick Arnold. Roll call, please.
Alderman Wendy Arnold.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Jeffers.
yes,
Walters.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Rick Arnold.
Yes.
So moved. Bill number 1413, an ordinance of the City of Peably, Missouri, amending Chapter 405 of the City Code of Ordinances of the City of Peably regarding the length of time members shall serve on the Board of Adjustments. We have a motion to approve on its first reading by
I'll make the
caption.
motion
Motion by
with the correction.
Alderman Walters to approve on its first reading by caption only with corrections named. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Marcus. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rick Arnold.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Jeffers.
yes,
Marcus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Wendy Arnold.
Yes.
So moved. All right, on to bill number 1414. Any questions or comments? The changes were not related to this one, only on 1413, sorry. Nothing else? If no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to put bill number 1414 on its first reading by caption only.
Make the motion.
Motion by Alderman Walters to put bill number 1414 on its first reading by caption only. Seconded by Alderman Minkus. Roll call, please.
Alderman Wendy Arnold.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Jeffers.
yes,
Walters.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Rick Arnold.
Yes.
So moved. Bill number 1414, an ordinance of the City of Peably, Missouri, amending Chapter 400, amending Chapter 400 of the City Code of Ordinances of the City of Peably regarding the length of time members shall serve on the City Planning Commission.
I make the motion to accept it as read on its first reading.
Motion by Alderman Walters to accept on its first reading by caption only. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Marcus. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rick Arnold.
I'm going to abstain.
Piper.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Jeffers.
yes,
Marcus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Wendy Arnold.
Yes.
So moved.
This is not a new facility, it's actually a change of ownership of the existing car wash right here on the commercial. New owners came in, they're full compliance, they paid everything, their taxes are due, so it's just a matter of issuing a business license.
Is it still called just Peebly Car Wash, or is there
I guess it's still gonna be called Peebly Car Wash, I don't see anything different. They did ask if they sent me a logo, which is just like ours, but underneath it said Missouri said Peebly Car Wash, I told them no, that wasn't gonna work. So, but they're gonna look for some other logo.
All right, any questions or comments on the new business license for Peebly Car Wash, just a change of ownership?
Are there vending machines up to code? I mean, are they,
You gotta speak up or speak in your mic.
are the vending machines up to date?
I'll have to check on that. All I do is have notes here from where everybody's approved it, and it's got all the initials on it, they've gone through the process, and proper people have looked at. But I'll check on that.
Just want to make sure that I lost my hearing aid, I'm using an old one, so I want to make sure that this was an existing car wash.
Yes.
So it's just a name change kind of thing?
Ownership change, yes.
Okay. Do we have to cover those kind of things? I mean, if I sell my house to somebody, we don't have to do anything. If they sell their business, we have to?
Well, they still gotta apply for a business permit. They don't have to go through planning and zoning because they're already a car wash. So it's just a matter of going through planning and zoning, and it's the board's the final one that gives approval to the issue of the license.
I'll make a motion, we give them a business license.
Thank you. We have a motion by Alderman Shackelford to approve business license for Peebly Car Wash. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Alderman Walters. Roll call, please.
Alderman Rick Arnold.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Jeffers.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Wendy Arnold.
Yes.
So moved. All right, new business, American Legacy Insurance.
This is a new business. They're an insurance company that moved in at 8642 Commercial Boulevard. Exactly what kind of insurance do they sell you? I can't tell you that, other than an insurance firm. So it's an office type environment. And again, I got to look at this, and it has all this initials where they've gone through the planning and zoning process and also the permitting process. So it's just issuing the license. That's the only thing they're waiting on before they open the door.
Any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Did planning and zoning approve all this?
I don't think they have.
Road-
It must be where they're at, must be listed as a commercial.
I know that Kenny looked at this. I know that Kenny reviewed it. If you didn't go to planning and zoning, then, like you said, it's probably already established commercial lot with similar businesses in the past.
What was the address again?
Pardon?
What was the address again?
8642
So
commercial.
is this over there by Domino's and Dollar General?
Correct.
It's not that commercial. Any questions or comments other than that? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve American Legacy
I'll make the
Insurance.
motion.
Motion by Alderman Walters to approve the business license for American Legacy Insurance. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Alderman Shackelford. Roll call.
Alderman Wendy Arnold.
Yes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Shackelford.
Yes.
Marcus.
Yes.
Jeffers.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Piper.
Yes.
Rick Arnold.
Yes.
So moved. All right, John Zufall, annexation of properties with wells.
Yes.
Actually, I'm deferring this to Alderman Shepherd.
Okay.
He came through planning and zoning and everything else fits the model for this business. He has an existing well that produces water right now. He's close to one of the sewers, which is going to tap onto our sewer system and continue to use as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I apologize. What is the business? Is that an auto?
Yes. Auto repair.
Auto repair shop. And that's pretty much what that's been used for, isn't it?
In the past,
Yes.
I don't know what it was. It's been closed for a couple decades.
Anything else? Any questions, comments?
Yeah, everything else. Fine.
Sir, did you purchase the property?
Yes. Bought it in October.
And how large area is it?
3.22 acres.
You are planning on expanding? The only problem, I don't problem bringing in, I do appreciate you coming in. I'm concerned about just letting people come in on wells what if we have some other areas, people say, well, I want to come in on a well, I want to do this on a well.
I was
It's an
told,
existing well.
I understand that.
I was told if I added another building to the property that it wouldn't be covered under the same well, so we're just talking about one building.
Okay.
The building that's.
Right, the building which you originally used.
Right.
Well, that's what I was concerned about, you know, people expanding.
Yeah.
Okay, the building has to be on our water.
Yeah.
And if anything happens to this well,
Right.
This is the one that used to be an auto body, Meeker Auto Body, and
Yes.
Tim Smith, and Smith Auto Body.
Actually, it's the building below that,
Okay, yeah.
right at the bottom of the hill, the bigger building.
You know, I don't mind, I'm approving and I'm in favor of it, except I would like to say if he would sell it off, that it would not go with the property, that anybody else would have to come back and to come back to the board with it. That there's a change of ownership.
You mean the well?
Yeah, they would have to come back and say,
Well-
city.
Yes, sir.
I want to ask, by making exceptions to the things and precedents for setting, I would like to ask Sean, what things with our other ordinances and stuff, this would affect anything, or legally, is it a good idea to do what we're doing?
I've thought about this. I'm inclined to say I think everybody who comes into the city should sign on to the water district, everyone. And that we do not set a precedent where we allow exceptions, except, in extraordinary cases. But I do not believe that the city's doing anything illegal by allowing it in this instance.
we have residences here still in the city that are on their own wells.
Well, my question would be is, if he builds another building and hooks onto our water system, how are we gonna be guaranteed that the two systems won't interconnect? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, like American Can at one time had their own well, and their system was also connected to the city's system. So I mean, if he's going to build another building at any time, I would believe that he should have to completely connect to the city's water system for all buildings, because there's no way that we want his well system to be connected to our water system for contamination or anything else.
I understand that. You planning on building anything in the near future?
I was told if I put a backflow valve on it, there'd be no danger.
Right. Or if it was actually just tapped in completely different. Yeah.
Right.
I don't think it's gonna use much water with automotive shop, but I mean,
Yeah.
open a car wash or something like that.
But anything new,
Yeah.
you would have to come on the city. Probably come on the city anyway.
And should as well go out, they just said, should something happen to the well, he has to go into city sewer, or city
Right.
water, so.
Yeah.
Is he county or is he city?
He wants the annexation into the city.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm running for
Yes, Mr. Jeffers.
Sewer rate is based on water usage. How do we know what to charge them for sewer?
He would be based off of a business at a minimal rate.
Would he have a flow meter put on his sewer system?
One of the stipulations, if you decide to accept his well, is he'd be required to put a meter on it.
At his cost.
And that's how then we would bill him for sewer, by, it'd be our meter, he has to put the meter set in, our meter, and then he'd be billed, like anybody else would be billed for.
So the water he uses, whether it's his.
Going into our system,
Because
yes.
it's going down our sewers.
Any other questions or comments? All right, at this time, I will entertain a motion for the annexation of properties with wells. Are we wanting to be a little bit more, detailed on this motion?
Yeah, I think that maybe an ordinance would be a proper way of going about this.
Entertain a motion to, wait, and we
Draw the
don't
vote.
have to, I mean, you have the ability to do it without a motion, honestly.
Yeah, that's right, you guys just tell me.
Yeah,
Done.
get that ordinance done, there we go, all right.
So you need to explain to him.
Yep.
Yeah, I really don't know.
He's gonna get an ordinance together that
Okay.
will come back to the next board meeting, and then the board can choose to read and approve it.
Okay,
And it will have all the stipulations that they discussed with the P and Z
well,
board.
can I ask this first? The building that's there, we're talking about letting it have its well. If I put another building, am I able to hook that one up to the city? That's what I was told. or
You have to
am I-
hook up to the
you have
city.
I won't have to hook them both up to the city because I have another building.
Just the new addition would have to be set
Oh,
up
I
to the city.
understood that in the first place, so.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
it.
if I sell the property, it doesn't mean that the well can't go with the sale. They have to come before you first to see what
Yes.
they're gonna do.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, it still goes with the property, whether they can use it as part of the project would be up to the board then.
Okay, what kind of things do you think would keep it from going with the property? If they were using massive amounts of water or something, is that what you're saying?
Something like that. There's no car wash in it.
Right, well, yeah,
Or something, it could be some kind of industrial thing or
right.
something like that. With a lot of water usage, you won't be using much as a mechanic.
No. So then, by the time, am I able to move forward, or I have to wait till after the next meeting?
It'll be after the ordinance would be approved, and that would be at the next board meeting.
That's a month away, right?
No,
No.
no.
Should we-
Our next actual board
The
meeting
sixth?
would be, yes, the 6th.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions, comments? All right. All right, bank investments, Alderman Jeffers.
Yeah, I've been going over financials and that kind of stuff, and I've been told that basically we have one checking account for almost all of people's monies. And then I don't know whether that's a good idea or not, but I know that we're only getting, a 0.25% per year. There are many places that you can have a checking account or a savings account or a CD that you can earn between 1 and 1.5. And I would think it would be behoove us to look into that. It brought up one question to me that if we have all the money in one account, I know that there's a $250,000 guarantee if that bank goes under. If we've got, do we need enough accounts to cover that? So that it's insured? Or,
Insurability follows the either tax ID number or the individual social security number. So you would have to have multiple bank accounts within other banks to do that type of insurability. When you have all of your funding in at a particular bank, that insurability goes based off that person's social security number or tax ID number.
okay, now what about the city? Do
We
if
have
the
one
bank
tax
goes,
ID
if the
number.
bank goes broke, do we get 250,000 for the 8,000, I mean, 8 million we got in there?
That's something that they have to have set with our liability clauses.
I would like to see it guaranteed. I mean, if it's a lot of trouble to have that many accounts. By having that many accounts, we could get around to it. I mean, you could have separate accounts in the same place, couldn't you? I mean, cover it.
It's based off of your social security number or your tax ID number. So same as you and your wife have accounts,
Okay,
your
two separate.
account has it's two separate social security numbers, so yours would be insurable up to the 250, hers would be insurable up to the 250. It's based off social security or tax ID numbers.
I've got on my savings and checking, I've got like 3 different accounts, and all of them have,
All combined, you're one person.
okay, well, I was told different, but, I mean, I'm not saying I don't know. But, I would like to, get some way of, protecting ourselves a little more than what we are also. I mean, I know I don't have I got spots where we can go and get that type of thing, but, I really think we ought to look into trying to get more money to get more protection. I've gotten some ads, I got, within a financial magazine one week, and there was 3 of them in there that was, the lowest one was 1%. And I think it was a checking account, so that would be 3 times as much as we're getting now, right? So I don't know where to go from here.
Mr. Jeffers, is that, the information you have, is that on businesses and personal accounts are much different when it comes to interest rate, how much money you get? A lot of times these banks, a lot of times they $1 million or $5 million, and they'll go around shopping, who'll give the best interest rate. Those banks don't want those money, because it's a business money. They want personal stuff.
The bank will give me, if I've got $2,000, they'll give me 1.25. But if a city comes in and goes.
Well, I'm saying business, I'm saying business in general.
That they're not going to give them the 7%.
Yeah, they're not, your money, as Russ just said, is usually sitting there for a long time. Businesses, they go in and go out, they charge for checking every time a city or a business does a check, they charge for a check, there's a charge for deposits. So those things we need to look in, if you want to change, that's something else we need to look into, because there's a lot of different charges, bank charges a business, which the city would be, versus you and I coming in with personal stuff. And I don't know what kind of information you have, personal information over personal.
No, this is just, it probably is personal. Because,
yeah. So there's a big difference between the two.
$20,000 or so.
Right.
But with the CD, is that same problem? Do we letter a CD?
That I do not know. I
Somebody gets more money.
Yeah, I don't know the answer on the CD, but I do know about the checking and all that.
Mr. Brown?
May I suggest that Mr. Shin had surgery today, so he's out for a few days. But John and I get together offline, we sort through this and come back and present something to the board. Not only the protection of the accounts, but also the possibility of other investment opportunities.
Sounds wonderful. Any other questions or comments? Anybody else? No? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Jeffers. All right, July financial statements. Informational, any questions, comments?
One of the things we're going to change that a little bit, instead of John sitting in just reading through the numbers, that after individuals get those financial statements, if you have any questions, come into the office. We'll sort through them. If I can't answer the question for you, then we'll get John involved and answer the questions for us.
Work? Yes, sir.
I was talking to Mr. Dickey about it, and I didn't have the information in front of me, but there was a amount on the water fund, a reserve or replacement account, and I did not know exactly what that meant. At first, I thought where someone was paying back money to us, but it was consistent last month, this month, for 500. It wasn't the one we talked about.
Mr. Brown.
Dickery. Try to be, but I mean, there was that 509, I did not know what that is.
On the replacement fund or on the
Reserve or
reserve
replacement
fund?
account?
Right, on,
Reserve.
under the water fund, it says operating checking water reserve and replacement account, $509,780,000.
And I mean, that's basically what it is. That's our reserve and replacement fund. I believe we actually kind of spoke about it at the last meeting, didn't we, Greg? Mr. Shin, didn't he kind of explain those two at the last meeting he was at? Dickie, correct me if I'm wrong, did not Mr. Shin explain the reserve and the replacement funds at the last meeting? What we may do is, you can come in, Mr. Jeffers, and sit down and, maybe at the time that John or Greg is here, they can explain that to you again, so you understand those.
It was we got reserve, and then this, was the bottom one, I thought it was a loan we were paying back, and that's, this is, Peggy told me the same.
Yeah, different one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was wrong.
Okay. All right, any other questions or comments on the July? Should we proceed quickly? No? All right, then get with Mr. Brown if you have any further questions. July AP report, any questions or comments? No? All right.
I would like to get it prior to 5 o'clock, to review it, but how can you really study it in, 15 minutes? Go back to the other one, so if there's some way we can get the report at the year over or something, I'd appreciate it.
We'll try to get it out on Friday.
Right.
Time constraint this time.
Please report, questions or comments? Do you have anything to add? All right, moving on to board comments, Alderman Jeffers, any comments?
Yes, I've got 2 comments. At the workshop, I talked about having a reduction in fees for the sewer and water. And I may have been too many numbers. I've given it to the paper, nothing came out of that. The minutes were wrong as to the amount. So there was some confusion because of the thing. Simply put, what I want to do is there's on our budget, it shows that we're going to make $713,000 on profit, or whatever we want to call it. And I would like to give back to the people $1,500. That would be a reduced rate of 10 to 30%. The reasons are we've got $4,500,000 in reserve now. With this proposal, at the end of the year, it would be, if it would have started at the beginning of the year, we still would have, it would have increased to $4,698. That's an increase of $198,000. So I think that that's enough money. The other things are just, we increased the fees 100%, and now we got and we can't spend the money any other place. So I was just trying to make it simpler so that people would understand it. If anyone has any questions afterwards, I will go over the numbers and try to explain it. Try to get some support for this action. The second thing I had was today's rain. The new house next to me got its basement flooded. I had the same problem. My basement didn't get flooded, but I've got a pond between my neighbor and myself. I had to put up a berm, and I really think that something ought to be done to tell contractors that they've got to grade their lots to get the water to the street so it can go into the reserves. And the answer I got wasn't, I was just told, well, that's a lot of water. That's a lot of water. But there was only 2 houses, and this contractor had not, he did mine, he got by with it, he did the next house, did the same thing. Now the gentleman next to mine has got a flooded basement, and there's doesn't seem to be anything. I talked with Mr. Dickey, and he said, well, we can't really do anything until there's an ordinance. So I would like to look into some type of thing for planning and zoning or something that says that a contractor has to grade the lot so the water goes to the street, not to the guy next to him. I don't know how to say it or whatever, but I think the city should give protection to its people and not the contractors. Thank you.
Is that it? All right, thank you. Alderman Marcus?
I'd like to thank the staff for getting the striping done in Abbey Lane and River Road. It's nice. You can see in the dark time, nighttime. Now it lights up a little bit when you see the deer too, so I'd like to thank them for that.
With the deer.
Yeah, the deer too. The other thing is we have discussed with Herky Wayne about more money for the dispatch and everything else too. We met with Herky and everything else. We'd like to stop that or wait until the end of December. What they're doing is they're getting some more IT, computers in the cars, everything else too, that possibly cut down on some different things. They've got some other IT stuff they're working on too, so they want to get that going before we negotiate a new contract with you. So our thoughts were to still allow them until the end of December, the same contract. And then what we need to do is send them a bill too, because we haven't sent them a bill yet for the last 48.8 that they owe us. So that's our recommendation right now until that comes up. So just let everybody know.
Maybe have more at the workshop.
No, because we gotta wait till December when they get this IT stuff moving.
Okay.
And about that long and everything else too. And I don't think our fiscal years are the same, are they, Dickie?
Yeah, ours is January 1st, and that's one of the issues that we're going to address in the future.
Right.
I mean, if we come to an agreement on the contract, is I'd like to change the contract period to mirror their fiscal year. We can budget for it at the first of the year, just knowing we're not going to get the proceeds until later in the year. So that's not an issue. Just, it'd be, accounting-wise, it'd be much simpler for us to do that.
Okay. The other thing is too, I'd like to thank the auditor, saying we need to keep the money that we've got in the water and sewer because we need a rainy day fund. Because he doesn't want to be like the other cities that don't have enough money to take care of their people. That's it.
All right. Alderman Walters?
Well, I have a comment about what Steve just mentioned. I guess should have this on the next agenda, because I don't know why the city should have to lose money like we have in the past every year for the city of Herculaneum for dispatching, because we're not getting paid for prisoner food, we're not getting paid taking care of their prisoners or anything else. So why should we have to wait 6 more months before we go into a contract with them? I realize that they're getting new equipment for their police cars and everything, but still, the city's going to be out the funds between now and December. So, I mean, the old contract, sure, it was great that's right, for them. But now here we are sitting here holding the bag while they're enjoying the profit and everything. I mean, I don't see this myself.
Mr. Brown and I actually discussed it right before we came into the meeting, and I agree that that part needs to be addressed, get the dispatching separated from us housing prisoners and all the other stuff that goes with it, having 2 separate issues instead of just focusing on the dispatching, because the previous contract was just that, dispatching, didn't address anything else. So I agree with Alderman Walters that does need to be addressed immediately.
I'll agree with Tony and discuss that they're doing an itemized building structure of some sort. And actually, that was talked about last week. They even talked about building them on some per prisoner per day basis, something like that.
And some of the things we talked about, they had no clue that we were doing over this way too. So that's why we kind of had a discussion on it and everything. So it was a learning experience for both sides.
Well, I understand all that, but still, the city shouldn't have to be out of the money.
So let's put that on our workshop for the 20th. All right, anything else?
That's it.
Alderman Shackelford?
Yes, Mr. Zufall's annexation here, the Zufall annexation, we went over this, when was that, Dickie? That meeting? Was that 2 months ago?
As far as talking about the annexation originally,
Yes.
there's been several weeks.
Yeah. I was just wondering why it took so long to get onto the board, 'cause I think he seems to be a little annoyed by the lack of movement by the city. And I can see where he would be upset about that.
Part of it is that we can't take it to the board until we're comfortable we have what we need to present to the board. There was still a lot of unanswered questions up until just recently. Questions about the water meter, whether or not to go with the property or not with the property, about other buildings. I can't take something to the board until somebody can give me an answer to those questions. And that's the reason we're doing it.
And as far as planning and zoning, I think I asked at the beginning of the year that we continue to have one every month, even if there isn't something on the agenda, because there's quite a few ordinances we want to go through, and I'd like to see us have one. And it kind of keeps the members, you know, we were talking about members not coming to these meetings. If we have one every month, everybody gets into the habit of coming.
The last one was canceled because of the election, wasn't it?
We can either move it, we could have had it later on that evening in one of the other rooms here after they close the election. You know, just like I said, it keeps the members, you know, oh yeah, I've got one every month, other than the fact, well, I haven't got a packet in 3 months, I can have it. I'm not looking for it. And one of the last things I have was, a long time ago, we started on the revised ordinances for drug houses. And I think I talked to Tom, and he said that he was told that the one he came up with was way too expensive, so just kind of, what are we doing to get another one?
I don't believe Sean's ever been tasked with picking that up and continuing on it. It was kind of tabled when Tom just went to prosecuting attorney only. He was doing that as an attorney to the board. So is that something the board wants Sean to pick up and continue?
Well, I believe so, yes. Tom told me he presented one to you from the one that he was talking about in Colorado. And you told him it was way too expensive, and that was the end of it. We heard nothing else.
Well, I don't remember telling him it was too expensive. There was points of it I wasn't in, I didn't like. That's true, I told him that. But that doesn't mean that that document can't be refined and continue on.
Exactly, that's what I was kind of getting to. Why didn't we go from there, other than just hearing nothing?
All right, so let's get that on for the workshop, please, and get whatever it was that Tom presented.
Sure.
To the board.
That's all.
All right, Alderman Piper.
No.
Nothing. Alderman Mingus.
No. Nothing.
Nothing. All right. Alderman Rick Arnold.
I just want to thank the staff and administration for all their hard work. I mean, the audit showed that you guys are doing good. Whoever you want to give credit to. It's more than one person, and I just pat yourselves on the back that you guys are doing good. I also would like to see some movement in our parks. I know that we're trying to get people on board, but something I've talked about many, many months ago is a little late in the year for like the box gardens, but maybe we can see what kind of funds are out there for fruit trees, that we get these fruit trees in our parks for our patrons. Other than that, I don't have much. Thanks. I think everybody's found out.
Put that on that workshop also. Alderman Whitney. Mr. Brown? Nothing? I did want to remind everyone that the workshop was moved this month to the 29th, still at 5 p.m. Also, I did want to go ahead and announce this evening that Alderman Piper has put his resignation in. He has accepted a position with an employer that would not allow him to be able to attend the meeting. So we are very sad to see him leave. His resignation will take effect on August the 29th. So we would like to put it out there that if there are any residents in Ward 3 that would like like to put their name in, please write up something and give it to Mr. Brown, and he will present them to myself. And I think you have done a great job, and thank you for doing what you have done. I appreciate it. Hopefully we get somebody to fill your shoes with your guidance. Other than that, I also just wanted to say thank you again to Mr. Shen's office and to John. You guys have been doing great work with our employees, and you guys, it's helped to assist our employees to get things rolling in the right direction. So good job to you guys and also to our employees for a great audit. I was pleased to see it. Let's keep moving forward. If there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Alderman Lucas.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Arnold. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining?
We'll start.